pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, could you please take roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes. Darcy.
Here.
Jeff Conway is absent. Greg Strumka.
Here.
Eric.
Here.
Danielle.
Here.
Nikki's here. April.
Here.
And Mindy.
Here. Thank you. Were there any adjustments or changes to the agenda? Okay. Item number 4, we have an action item. This is to approve the agreement between ISD 300 and Education Minnesota, with Crescent representing the teachers, effective July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2025.
Move to approve.
Any discussion?
I just want to say thank you for those that took part in these negotiations. I know they were probably not. We had a pretty stellar team. Yeah. Easy.
What was the percent? Year 1, year 2?
Year 1, I got it right here. Breakout.
Well, she's getting that. I'll point out 2 things that I think were important and positive things. We upped the starting salary for teachers. So kind of that upper left first year beginning teacher. We upped that to be more in line with area districts, not Wisconsin, but our local area districts. That will hopefully help with recruitment. The other thing that I was really happy we were able to update is the activities and coaching percentages, because they weren't equitable before. For example, the football coach made more than the volleyball coach, and nobody could articulate why we had it set up that way before. And so it's just the same across the board. If you're a head coach of a sport, this is what you make. If you have years of experience, you get bumps. So I think it's far more equitable and consistent and defendable if we were ever questioned on it.
Which ones were higher or lower?
Before, like an example of one was the football head coach made more than the volleyball head coach. So both fall sports, same length of season. No one could really articulate why, and so we made it just the same across the board for all head coaches, all assistant coaches, and all the way down the path.
And the other piece, I don't know if people share this, is we went with, it was units before, so it was like $38 for a unit, and each sport had different numbers of units that would pay out. Right now what we're doing is a percentage of a base fee. And so we went back to, I think this is a $40,750. So that was, when we originally proposed this, that was the starting salary in cell 1. So, you know, BA1, that would have been what it would have been then. So now this will, the structure of this is such that our coaches will get incremental increases, because since a lot of the coaches are not always teachers, they're kind of forgotten in there. And so this will keep that somewhat current too.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor of approving the contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the contract is approved. Thank you very much. Up next, we have first reading of policy. This is cellular phone and other personal electronic devices policy. I'm sure you all saw the email that was sent from Jacob. I did update the language. So if you look at the, are we updated? So, yeah, that's the original version. That's not the updated one. So anyway, I updated the language that has for high school, they can use them like passing at lunch, but during scheduled class periods, they can't use them. So you'll see that in the update. But that was the only change. So it stayed the same for middle school, elementary school. It's just that now they're allowed to use them between classes.
Do we have signage in restrooms and locker rooms about not using personal devices in there? I know when we were at Chatfield last weekend, I saw in the bathroom it
I
said,
don't believe we do.
you know, no
We
cell
did it
phone
one
use.
time, but I haven't seen them.
And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I just didn't think about it until I was just
Mhm.
sitting here, just
Yeah.
dawned on me. I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because it is in the policy, but
Right.
obviously it's not on. I think most locker rooms have them.
It is in the policy though. I can't open it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I motion to approve.
I'll
It
second.
doesn't need a motion. This is just a
Just
first
first
reading.
reading.
Oh,
Um,
I just changed the link.
Just kidding.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's the update right there. Students in grades 9 through 12 may only use cellular phones and other personal electronic devices outside of scheduled class periods. This means they may only be used before school, during lunch, during passing time, and or after school.
I can't recall, were there things in there about earbuds and watches still?
Yeah, that's why it's other personal electronic devices.
Okay.
So it applies to all of them.
And they are not allowed. Well, the phone is allowed in between, the other things are not.
Yep.
Um,
And if they're listening to music, it's wired. They want wires.
okay, now I'm also just trying to scroll in it really quickly, but is there exceptions in the policy?
Yeah.
There are.
Well,
What
there's a
exceptions?
clause that says any exceptions must be approved. There, number 5.
So what's an exception?
Maybe hard of hearing.
Hard of hearing, it would need.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some,
Okay.
currently some exceptions have been made for maybe some sensory overload in the hallways.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Like they
children
get
want to
earmuffs?
put their
Oh.
earbuds in and zone out versus
That could spawn.
experience the loud chaoticness of the hallway.
Okay.
Any other discussion on that?
Thank you. Thank you, April.
And then moving on to number 6, those are all the policies that are here for the second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Where were we at with the attendance?
The what?
The attendance one? I feel like there was big discussion around that one last time.
What about which part?
Passes.
At which point they're unexcused or excused.
Oh, well, we had added the clause about
And the consequences mostly.
the part where it says that if there's a pattern of
Okay, yeah.
there's a pattern of
I don't think this has changed from the last.
yeah, it was in there the last time.
Okay. Under consequences?
See, if there is a pattern of.
Yeah. That's what we updated.
All right, I like it.
So that was in there last time and admin was fine with that, right?
And then for sports, is that in this or not, or is that just an athletic policy? Okay.
As far as
Like a handbook.
participating
Yeah.
fitness.
No, there's language in this as well.
Oh, there
I
is?
got it up. That hasn't changed at all, that's existing language.
I just couldn't remember it. I had a doctor's appointment last week, and I was like, I think she can still participate. Assuming nothing is done.
Although I will say, I was telling some of you earlier, my kid already had to get an OPAS, and was asked for a doctor's note.
Yeah, so we're working on that.
So this doesn't specify, because there's if they're late, they have to be here by 10 or 10:30. 10:10.
That used to be.
They have to be, okay.
That's in,
That's
the
in the
handbook, I
handbook,
think. Yeah, that's in the
Okay.
handbook.
And so we want them to match, right? Before we approve the policy?
Yeah, the handbook has to be, or the policy is like the rule, the overarching rule.
Okay.
And then the handbook can be more procedural, as long as it follows the policy. It can't contradict the policy or go against the policy.
And so you probably don't want the policy to be too specific, because then you have to keep changing. If let's say the bell times change at the high school, then we'd have to redo the policy again. If 10:10 happens to be when that bell goes off, or whichever
And I
hour.
don't know that that's.
Yeah, and that would be my guess is what it is.
And to respect our admin, if they're doing their job, and giving them a little bit of autonomy too.
Any other discussion?
We're almost done, Jeff. We're almost done.
Yeah, they're fine, we're almost done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor of approving the second reading policies, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the policies are approved. And last item on the agenda is a position addition for an elementary school paraprofessional.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Is there room for this in our budget?
Yeah, and it's not something that we can really not do. It's written in an IEP. We've just received actually 3 new kids at the elementary school and a couple of new kids at the high school, middle school, who have substantial paraneeds. And so we're juggling people right now, but
And that's
legally,
literally full-time.
yeah.
And that's a statute, legal reason to have to be a
Yes.
certain number to.
Well, it's written in their IEP, so
In addition to ratio.
yes,
Right.
it's, so this is, one of the children that came in, I know has a one-on-one para written in her IEP,
Makes sense.
so.
Yeah.
It's, and even with the one-on-one, I was out with her today and we had a little kerfluffle that happened. So,
Okay, those in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, position is approved, fire away.
thank you.
Any additional items?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Good job, everybody.
Right.
Thanks for coming.
I like it.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for Jeff.
Well, thank you for your support. We will. I appreciate it. I thought I was going to need to talk, but I thank you for your